you're a bride who wants her wedding to be perfect and the most romantic, beautiful, and emotional day of your life, if you want to enjoy every minute of your day, if you want to be the most ravishingly beautiful bride your friends and relatives have ever seen, if you want to spend wonderful quality time with your guests, if you want to remember with happy tears in your eyes all the love, emotions, and joys of the day, then this is going to be the most helpful and exciting video you have ever received. Really. My name is Chris Cummins. I'm the chief photographic artist and the owner of Glow Imagery, and I love weddings. I've been photographing them for 12 years, not because I have to for the money. I have a very successful portrait photography business that makes me a very comfortable living, but rather I do weddings because I want to, because I love the emotion and romance of your wedding. Here's how to have the most magical, romantic, and emotional wedding day of your dreams. If you're still watching, let me congratulate you. This means you want to be the most beautiful bride anywhere. You want your wedding to be a wonderfully emotional and romantic day. You want to have everything go smoothly and perfectly. You want to have a great time. You want to see all of your guests and have them also have a fun time. Well, here's how to do it. Here's the 7 huge mistakes and how to avoid them when planning your wedding. Mistake number one, not meeting the actual person who will be photographing your wedding. Believe it or not, the photographer you select to photograph your wedding can make or break your wedding day. Yes, I kid you not, your entire wedding day, not just your photographs. Why? Because he or she is there with you and your family in person, interacting with all your family and guests, representing you every minute. Now, honestly, we're not just talking about photography here. We're talking about your wedding, how you feel on your wedding day, and how smoothly and romantically everything goes. You see, your photographer determines this by the way he helps you plan your wedding, the way he treats you and your loved ones, and the way he conducts himself or herself throughout the day. Now, most brides don't realize that many studios hire part time photographers to photograph their weddings for them. It's true. High school and college kids, friends, relatives, etc. This means that you go to a studio, talk with the salesperson, look at their samples, and make a decision without really knowing who will be photographing your wedding. And if it's not just the right person doing, and if it's not just the right person doing the photography and interacting with all your family and guests, everything can be ruined. So, when you're talking with the potential photographer, ask them the following questions. Who did these photographs you are showing me? Who by name will be photographing your wedding if we hire your studio? And another question is, we want to meet this person before we hire your studio. Then, when you meet this person, ask him or her the following questions. How will you dress at my wedding? Did you do all the samples of wedding photography we saw in the sample books? If not, please show us your work. That's really important. How long have you been photographing weddings? How long will you be at my wedding? Before you leave our wedding, who do you check with first to see if there's anything else we would like you to do? Another great question. Do you work from a checklist of photos? You never want a photographer who needs a checklist doing your wedding photography. He'll spend all his time looking at the list and miss all the wonderful, romantic, and spontaneous moments of your wedding. Any photographer who is any good won't need to follow a checklist. He or she will know all the photographs that need to be captured. Then decide if you really like the photographer as well as his or her work, because this person is going to be spending a lot of time with you and your family and friends on your most important day. By the way, just so you know, here's my answer to those questions. I'm the only photographer at my studio. I'll be photographing your wedding personally. We have associate photographers that I sometimes work with depending on the wedding's needs, but I'm always the lead photographer. I will dress nicely in slacks and a collared shirt. I don't want to take anything away from your groom and groomsmen and the fathers. And I also don't want to dress casually, not represent you professionally. Now, I have been photographing weddings As I mentioned earlier, for 12 years, I've been a professional photographer for 16 years. I have a college degree in photography. Photography's been my life. It's been my passion for 20 years. That's very rare among wedding photographers these days. Now, I'll be at your wedding until you, your husband, your parents, and your husband's parents. How exciting! You're calling him your husband already. And your husband's parents leave, and I mean, before I leave, I'll talk to all these folks before I go, and I'll check with all the above people to make sure we have everything covered. I use a checklist, but only as a reminder. Instead, I learn the names and relationships of all the members of your wedding party and both families. I refer to them by name. I know their relationship to you, so I can be constantly watching for the special, magical, spontaneous moments that will be so meaningful to you to have photographs of. Huge mistake number 2. Not selecting a photographer who has 100% you will be thrilled guarantee. What happens if you aren't happy with the photography, or the way you and your friends were treated, or if the photographer left your wedding before he was supposed to? This is of the utmost importance. The guarantee, make sure it's in writing, by the way, make sure it's in writing. The guarantee tells you just how committed they are going to be in taking good care of you and doing a great job. And just so you know, here's the glow imagery, ironclad, 100% money back guarantee. You will be thrilled, not just satisfied or happy, but thrilled with your photography and how we represent you and your families on your wedding day. If not, we will do whatever is necessary to have you be thrilled with these things, or we will return all your money, period. No hard feelings. No hassles. This is how much we care about what we do and what we're going to be doing for you. You can't do this over again. This is a one-time thing, and everything must be perfect, or as perfect as possible. You need to have a written guarantee that your photographer will take really good care of you. We are the only photography studio here in Kansas City that offers such a guarantee. Stay tuned for our next video, where I will tell you more about huge mistakes 3, 4, and 5 that brides make when planning their wedding.